Imagine waking up one morning to breaking news that sounds impossible. Antarctica, the coldest, most remote, and most mysterious continent on Earth has completely melted. No endless ice sheets. No towering glaciers. Just exposed land, rising oceans, and a planet that will never be the same again. This is not science fiction. This is a very real scenario scientists have seriously studied. And if it ever happens, the consequences would reshape Earth's geography, climate, cities, ecosystems, and human civilization itself. Antarctica holds about 70% of all the fresh water on Earth, and nearly 90% of the planet's ice. For millions of years, this frozen continent has acted like Earth's deep freezer, stabilizing global temperatures and sea levels. Beneath its ice lies a landmass larger than Europe, hidden from human eyes. If all that ice were to melt completely, the world would face changes so dramatic that modern maps would become useless. The most immediate and devastating effect would be sea level rise. Scientists estimate that if Antarctica's ice melted entirely, global sea levels would rise by around 58 meters, or nearly 190 feet. That is not a slow inconvenience, it is a planetary catastrophe. Entire coastal cities would vanish. New York, London, Tokyo, Shanghai, Karachi, Mumbai, and Sydney would all be underwater. Island nations like the Maldives and Tuvalu would disappear completely, erased from the map. Millions, possibly billions of people would be forced to migrate inland, triggering the largest human displacement in history. As oceans rise, sea continents would begin to look unfamiliar. Africa would lose much of its coastline. Europe would be reshaped beyond recognition, with the Netherlands completely submerged and much of Italy underwater. In Asia, Bangladesh would vanish, and large portions of China's coastal regions would drown. In the Americas, Florida would disappear. The Gulf of Mexico would expand deep into the United States, and parts of South America would be swallowed by the sea. Earth's familiar shape, something we've known for centuries, would be permanently altered. But the damage would not stop at flooding. Antarctica's ice plays a massive role in regulating global climate systems. When ice reflects sunlight, it helps keep the planet cool. This is called the albedo effect. Without Antarctica's bright ice surface, Earth would absorb far more solar energy, accelerating global warming even further. Temperatures would rise dramatically, making heat waves more intense and frequent across the globe. Ocean currents would also collapse or change direction. Antarctica helps drive the global conveyor belt of ocean circulation, which moves heat and nutrients around the planet. If the ice melted, cold fresh water would flood the oceans, disrupting currents like the Gulf Stream. Europe, which currently enjoys relatively mild weather, could experience extreme cold winters or unpredictable climate swings. Monsoon systems in Asia and Africa could weaken or fail, threatening food supplies for billions of people. Weather would become more violent and unstable. Stronger hurricanes, superstorms, longer droughts, and catastrophic floods would become the new normal. Agricultural systems that humanity depends on would struggle to survive. Crop failures would increase, food prices would soar, and famine could spread in vulnerable regions. Civilization, as we know it, would be under immense pressure. Surprisingly, melting Antarctica would also reveal something extraordinary. Beneath the ice lies a hidden world: mountain ranges, valleys, rivers, lakes, and even volcanoes. Scientists already know about subglacial lakes like Lake Vostok, sealed off from the surface for millions of years. Once exposed, these ancient environments could release unknown microorganisms, life forms that have evolved in complete isolation. While fascinating, this could also pose risks, as Earth's ecosystems may not be prepared for ancient bacteria or viruses. Re-entering the biosphere, Antarctica itself would transform into a new continent of opportunity and danger. Ice's gone temperatures would still be cold, but parts of Antarctica could become habitable. Plants could grow, and animals might migrate. Humans might attempt to settle or exploit newly accessible resources like minerals, oil, and gas. This could spark geopolitical conflicts, as nations compete for control over land that was once untouchable. Wildlife would suffer immensely. Penguins, seals, and countless species that depend on ice would face extinction. Marine ecosystems would collapse as ocean temperatures and chemistry change. Coral reefs, already fragile, would struggle to survive in warmer, more acidic waters. The food chain from tiny plankton to massive whales would be disrupted on a global scale. The psychological impact on humanity would also be profound. Coastlines are deeply tied to human culture, history, and identity. Losing them would mean losing ancient cities, historical landmarks, and cultural heritage. People would grieve not just for lives lost, but for places that define civilizations. The sense of stability humans have always relied on would vanish, replaced by uncertainty about the planet's future. Could humans stop Antarctica from melting completely? Realistically, once such a process begins at full scale, it would be almost impossible to reverse. Scientists warn that some parts of Antarctica, especially West Antarctica, may already be approaching tipping points. Once crossed, ice loss becomes unstoppable, even if global temperatures stabilize. This is why climate scientists emphasize urgency. What we do now determines whether this nightmare remains a thought, experiment, or becomes reality. Antarctica melting completely would not be a single event. It would unfold over centuries, maybe thousands of years, but the early stages alone would be enough to destabilize modern civilization. The world would be forced to adapt or collapse. New cities would rise inland. Borders would be redrawn. Economies would transform. Humanity would survive, but in a world far harsher and less forgiving than the one we know today. In the end, Antarctica is more than just ice at the bottom of the world. It is a guardian of Earth's balance. Its frozen silence protects our coastlines, regulates our climate, and keeps the planet stable enough for life to flourish. If it melts completely, Earth would enter a new chapter 1 written in rising seas, extreme weather, and irreversible change. The real question is not what if Antarctica melted completely. The real question is how close we are to that future end, whether we will act in time to prevent it.